Yeah, hi everyone, welcome again in this session related to the mobile phone security in forensics. And I'm Dr. Digvil Singh Rathod, Associate Professor and the Associate Dean, School of Cybersecurity and Digital Forensics, National Forensic Sciences University, which already have the status of the institution of national importance. Now, today I have a plan to discuss about the Android file hierarchy. We already discussed about the different partitions available inside the Android phone and how do we find the mapped link of those partitions and how practically you can find the partitions and the other file system related informations using the shell of your Android OS. Now today I have a discuss about the file Android file hierarchy. So we'll go ahead. Now remember one thing, it's simple to understand the underlying file hierarchy. The only reason why do we need to understand the file hierarchy, because once you will process the image of your Android phone and the examination and the analysis software will put all those extracted evidences along with the files and folder in front of you. So what the digital investigator they normally do, they will normally use a index search, or I would say the keyword search techniques to find the evidences. But in some of the cases, this index search or the keyword search, they won't help us to find the required evidences. Take an example, like suppose if I use the mobile phone or the mobile phone is connected with the laptop and you have copied some of the files from laptop to the mobile phone or from mobile phone to the laptop. Now you don't know the file name, and suppose if such case comes to you, you normally extract the evidences from the Android phone, and you don't know that what files it was copied. So you should know that from which file I'll come to know that what is copied or what is moved from the Android phone to the desktop machine, or what is copied from the desktop machines to the Android phone. Then you should know the exact location of the file which may have the evidences which will prove that what kind of files it was copied. So in these cases, if the investigator, digital forensics analyst, if they have the thorough knowledge of the each of the file hierarchy which is available in the Android phone, that will help to find the required evidences. So the basic understanding of how the Android organize its data in the file and folder helps a forensic analyst to narrow down his research to the specific location. The second thing is, to see the complete file hierarchy, you need to have a root access. It means that your mobile phone, it has to be a rooted mobile phone. Now we are going to use a Genymotion in our case, and the Genymotion is an emulator which is by default it is rooted. So if your mobile phone is not rooted, then you don't have the access to those directory structures, and for this purpose you need to root the mobile phone. Now these are the common file structures which you can see on the screen. Is like you are in the shell of the Android phone, and when you're trying to list out the files and folder using the ls command, you will come to know the list of the files and folder like the ACCT, cache, the config, data, default.probe, dev, and the other files and folder. I'm not going to touch each of the file and folder, but I'm trying to practically explain that the some of the important files and folder which you should know to be a good forensic investigator. So we'll do our practicals directly. So let me back to my Sudoku. Let me log in. Okay, so we already logged in. Let me clear the screen. Now let me check that I have access to this Genymotion phone or not. So I'll just try it adb devices. I think I don't have the access. Let me check this is the IP address or not. 136 and 101. Okay, let me check what's the problem with this. Oh, I did the mistake. I'm already in the root of I'm in the cell of the Android. Then how can I access the ADB? Is it the protocol fault error, no status? So I obviously if I will be the part of I'm using the cell of the Android phone, then how can I use the ADB to list out the devices? Oh, so this is just a mistake. Okay, so let's talk about we'll start with the ls. Instead of the ls, I'll try ls-al. Okay, so this is what the file structures that files and folder structures that we have. Okay, now as you can see that the first files and folder structure which you can see in front of you is called ACCT. So let me do one thing. Let me do a clear cd. Okay, and I'll say ls. So as you can see that you can find a C group clone children, the C group event control, the C group procs, C group stat usage. Now remember one thing, this ACCT is nothing but this is the mount point for the ACCT C group. And if you know that this C group is nothing but it's a control group that provides for the user accounting, in the sense that in the Linux, you have the C group that is called the control group, and they are responsible for managing the detail related to the different users. That's what I would say. So this is what the ACCT. Okay, so it's basically manage the control group, and that control group will provide the information related to the different users who are connected with your Linux OS. In our case, we have the kernel, the Linux kernel. That would I would say. So that is what our first files and folder. Okay, now let's see that we'll do again ls-al, and we're trying to see the next one is, it is of our interest, is called cache. I think this is what the important one. Now remember one thing, the cache is if we'll try to move into the cache, and let's see that what do we have. See, in my case, I think I have only the lost plus found folder only. I think if you connect your mobile phone and if you check the cache directory, you will find the variety of files. Now you should understand what is a cache. So it is basically a directory, and this directory normally store the frequently accessed data and the application component. So, and it is potentially very important for the investigator, because this cache may contain the forensically relevant artifacts that could be the recently accessed images, the browsing history, and the other app data also. So this slash cache directory, I would say it is very important for I would say the forensics point of view. The second thing is, I would say that wiping the cache doesn't affect your personal data, but it will just simply delete the existing data there. And there is also another directory that you can see on the screen is called lost plus found. As you can see, I'll say that lost plus found, and I'll say ls. I don't have anything inside the lost plus found, but basically this directory that holds a recovered file. Recovered file in what case? In the case where your file system gets corrupted. Okay, or if somebody will incorrectly remove your SD card without unmounting it, in that case you can expect the recovered file inside this lost plus the found folder. So in these two cases you can expect some of the files inside this directory. So I would say that recently accessed images, browsing histories, and the other app data you can expect in the cache data, in the cache directory. And if your file system is got corrupted, or somebody has, I would say they have incorrectly take out or remove the SD card, in that case, those recovered files you can expect inside the lost plus found folder. Let me come out from this directory, and I'll say -al, Okay, let's see that what other directories which is of our interest. I would say it is a data. Okay, oh, this is very important. I would say that. So let me move into the data, cd data, and slash al. Oh, we have the huge number of. I can see that there is a big list of directories inside this folder because this is very important one. Now remember one thing. This is a partition. That is the data partitions that contains a data of each application, and the data which was that this directory or this partition stores that belongs to the user, like such as the contact, the SMS, dial number, and so on, and everything will be stored inside this folder. And this folder is it's significantly important from the forensic point of view, as it's hold the valuable data. And I would say that if you just check that what do we have inside this directory, then I'll move into you'll find some more important details, like the data also, the Dalvik cache also. So we will do one thing. Let we'll dig uh, dive inside this directory also. So let me just move into the Dalvik cache and say scale, and you can see that in the screens you can find only the text files. If you check, this is just a text file. So what this directories normally they normally stored. Now we know that the Android applications, they contains text files, and that is nothing but these are the optimized version of the Java bytecode that we already discussed long back. And what will happen is, whenever the application is got installed on the Android device, some modifications are performed on those corresponding text file, and the resultant file, that is called the ODX. That's it. So after the Java bytecode, it will convert into the text bytecode, and for the optimization's purpose, they will optimize again the text files and they will convert the ODX file. That is called the optimized text file. Okay, and it is then normally cached inside this data slash Dalvik cache directory. So it doesn't so that it doesn't have to perform an optimizations process every time it loads any of the application. So as you can see that here, you can find the varieties of the text files, and after converting the Java bytecode to the text code, again text code will be converted into the optimized text code, that is called the .odx file, and those .odx files will be cached. That will be cached here in the Dalvik cache. That is the only reason is. And I don't know that how much important is forensic point of view, but if you want, you can explore something more. Okay, let me come out from this folder, and we already know that ls and the al, and which is other of our interest is, I would say that, okay, data. This is also so we have one more partition is called data. Sorry, one more directory is called data. So we'll move into the data. Okay, and let's see al. Okay, and let's see that as you can see, I think this would be the better one. Okay, now when you do this one, now what this slash data partitions normally do, this is an important one. So remember one thing, this slash data partitions that contains the private data of all the application, and most of the data which belonging to the user is stored in this folder, and this folder have a significant importance from the forensic point of view, as it holds the valuable data. So this partitions is that we'll discuss in detail in the upcoming sessions, but if you can check that you're going to get the details of most of the the system install applications or the user install applications. As you can see that we have already installed com.android. Insecure PAM 2, even for the launcher also, for the MMS also, so or even the Android com.android.phone also. If so somebody says that com.android, sorry, com.android uh, oops, sorry, com.android.phone, we are inside that directory, and if we'll say ls, you can find the cache files, cache files, lib, and the shared references for the specific application. So this will store the all the private data of all the applications that belongs to the specific user. So this is what the way this is, I would say, very important. So this is what the way it is very important. Even suppose if you come out from this and if you say it as, sorry, the ls, you'll find that all the user install applications like mwr.dz, that is a browser, is also got installed. So you can find all those the evidences specific related to the applications from this /data/data partitions. Now remember one thing, if your mobile phone is not rooted, then you don't have the access to all those partitions, which is very important to note. Okay, so let's come out from this partition. Okay, and let's see that which are the other important partition is. I'll say that we should go with the dev partitions. This is also of equally important partition. So we'll see the dev partition, and I'll say ls. I think it's better to use this one as. Now we already discussed about this dev partitions. We have used some of the partitions subfolder for subdirectories of this dev partitions to see that how many partitions do we have in our Android phone. Okay, now let's see that second thing is, now this, what is this dev partition is. So this directory actually, it contains a special device files for all the devices, and this is the mounting, I would say that mount point for the temp file system, that is called a tmpfs, and this file system defines the device available to the applications. Okay, and if you can see that, you can find the different TTY options with these partitions. You will also find some of the partitions, like these are the list of the partitions you can find. You can find the socket also. Okay, and the other important directories that you can expect in this partition. Okay, even is there anything others of our interest? I think no. Okay, so this is what a dev. So it is basically, I would say, it's a special device files for all the devices, and this is the mount point for your temp file system. That is, I think it is of our interest. I'll say clear, and let me check that al, and which other file system could be of our interest or partitions. That is init. Let's see that city init. Okay, no such files. So I think this is basically, I would say, when we normally boot our Android kernel, then this init program is executed. So it's not a directory. Actually, it is a file. Okay, so it's a very big file, I would say. I don't want to play with this. Okay, so this is what the init is basically, I would say, when you boot your kernel, Android kernel, then this init program, it is get executed. So this program is present under this folder. Okay, so I don't think that it is of much interest specifically forensic point of view. Now let's see that we'll see the next directories could be MNT, that is called the mount directory. So I will say that okay, and inside the, now as you can see on the screen, this directory that serves as a mounting point for all the file system, internal and the external SD card, and for other purpose also. So you will find here the USB also, the SD card also. So this is basically a mounting point for, you know, this SD card, internal storage, and you know, the file system. Let's see that we can see the next could be the PROC, PROC. Okay, PROC, and we'll see ls. Oh, it's a big list. Better this one. Okay, now the PROC is this is basically mounting point for the PROC file system, and the importance of the this PROC file system, that will provide the access to the kernel data structure, and that's why you have the partitions, and you also have the uh, mount structure, you know, like the MTD or the mount folder structure inside this directory, because this is basically, you know, they are responsible providing the access to your kernel data structure. And the second thing is, you know, there are several programs that use this slash proc as the source for the informations, and this will contains the files that have useful informations about the processes. Suppose take an example like the mam info, or you know, like if I'm talk about the CAT, sorry, it's a file. Okay, suppose if I'll say CAT mam info, now this will gives the informations about the memory allocations. Or if somebody says that the I would like to know that how many partitions are there in the systems, then we used, you know, this options. You can going to give, this will give the list of the partitions. Somebody says that the partitions, these partitions, they are mapped with which uh, aliases of the actual partitions, then in that case we used mount. Okay, and we'll come to know that okay, the SD card, okay, or a data partitions or the cache partitions or the system partitions, they are mapped with what. Okay, that information you can get it from this proc. Okay, so let me come out from this one, ls-al. Okay, so instead of that, let me write ls. Now after the proc, you have one more part, one more, I would say, the directory is called a root. Now remember one thing, this root is the home directory for the root account, and these folders that can be accessed only if the device is rooted. So I think we already have the access to this one. I don't have anything inside the root, but you know, if your mobile phone is not rooted, then you don't have the access to this file, this directory. Let will check the sbin. I think we already discussed about this directory. This sbin directory, that contains the binary of for several important demands, and this is not of much significant from the forensics perspective, but if you want, you can see it. So this basically, you know, keeps the binaries for the several processes. Okay, so you can see that now inside this only you can find the busy box, you know, and we know that what is a busy box is. Even you can find the ADB also. Okay, and the busy box is nothing but, I would say, this is the Unix utility, you know, which is a collection of the huge number of the commands that helps the Linux users to simplify their jobs. So inside this SBIN only you can find the ADB and you can find the BusyBox also. So these are the binaries for the several processes. So let me come out from this. Okay, and again do the ls. Now just then we have the SD card. Okay, now we know that what is the SD card is. So let me move into the SD card and I'll say ls. Now inside the SD card, now this partition that contains the data which present on your SD card of your devices. And one thing you should note that this SD card can be either a removable storage or a non-removable storage that you need to keep in your mind. And any applications on your phone with the right external storage permissions, okay, may create the files or the folders in these locations. Like take an example, like in the WhatsApp, we know that in the WhatsApp, you know, it keeps the folders, it creates the folders inside the SD card and pushes some of the images inside the SD card also. So those applications will have the right external storage permissions. They may create the files or the folders in this at this location. And the second thing is there are some default folders such as the Android secure, the Android, no, I can say that Android or DSIM or the downloads, okay, the movies, music, notifications, pictures. These all are the default folders. They are also available on the SD card, and I would say that this is also the important for the digital forensics analyst to know that what is deleted from the slash SD card partitions and how do we recover. Okay, so that is what our SD card is. Now let's check that what other partitions is of our interest. Now we also have one more partition is called system, SYSTEM. So let me move into the system, sorry. Okay, and sorry. Okay, so this is what the system directory. Now remember one thing, this system directory contains libraries, system libraries, and the other system related files. And the pre-installed applications that which normally comes along with your phone are also present in this partition. And as you can see that you can find some of the important details from here only. So this will keep two important evidences. One is the evidence related to the libraries, system libraries, and the other system related files. And the second one is you can also get the details or the evidences related to the pre-installed application which comes with along with your, I would say, mobile phone. Now in this files there is one more file which is of our interest, that is called build.proc. Okay, and remember one thing, this is not a directory, it's a file. So let me write build.proc, and we are trying to open this file. Now remember one thing, this file, that is a build.proc, this files that contains all the build property and the settings for the given device. As it, and for an forensic analyst, this files gives an overview about the device model, the manufacturer, Android version, and any other informations. Okay, and the content of these files that may be viewed using the cat command, which you can see on the screen. So let's see that what informations we can get it from this one is, I think it is starts from, okay, so here I would say that the build SDK is 16, the build version is a 4.1.1, the build date is the, no, that date also you can get it here in 2018. The user is a Genymotion. You can also get the host ID. Along with the host ID, I can see that the CPU is x86 architecture. And along with this, what other informations I can get is Just a minute, let me scroll down. And so there are so many informations which is available about the battery sensors, the GPS sensors, is it related to webcam, screenshots, and other things also. Okay, and what normally this these are the additional build properties also you can see here. You just need to dig deeper to understand each of the properties in a detailed way. But I would say that yes, the normally uh, what what is the biggest use of this build.pro, that you can get the overview about your device model, the manufacturer, Android version, and any other informations also. Okay, that is what the use of the build.pro. Now inside the same, let me come out from this one. Inside here only you can find one more directory, is called the app. And this app directory, let me move into the app directory and let's see that. Okay, clear. Okay, let's see. Oh, instead of that I'll write ls. Now remember one thing, this app directory which is inside the system directory, or I would say that system partition, and this folder contains the system applications and the pre-install applications. And I would say this is a mounting, and this is mounted as an read only to prevent any changes. It means that, whenever you purchase your mobile phones, there's some of the applications which comes by default. So those applications, as you can see that, this voice search stop apk, and the sound recorder apk, the settings.apk, the quick search box.apk, talk apk, as a telephony provider.apk. You can find that these are the applications which is a pre-installed applications, system install applications, and which will help the users to do their functioning, like making a call, receiving the SMS, checking the SMS in a easiest way. So this app directory which is inside the system partitions, this keeps a details related to the system applications and the pre-installed applications. Okay, now let's see that. Let me come out from this and let's see that, is there anything interesting that we can discuss. The next one is called a framework. Okay, so framework, and okay, let's see that framework. I think you'll find see, basically this folder that will contain the source for the Android framework, and these partitions that you can find the implementation of a key services. Take an example like a system server. Okay, then you can also find with the package and the activity managers, lots of mapping between the Java applications API and the native libraries is also done here. So I would say that this is I would say that's for that you need to dig deeper. But if you check that system server is also implemented, the font.apk file, then settings, sorry, the font.apk file and the settings.apk files, and those files is also available here, like the framework.jar file. So basically this framework partitions that contains the source code, or I would say that the source for your Android framework. Okay, and they also, they are responsible for the implementation of some of the key services, like activity manager, the package manager, system manager, and also mapping your Java applications API and the native libraries and so many things. So this is what the framework is. I think this is what the common file directory structures that I have a plan to discuss, and we have discussed almost all the important directory or the file hierarchy which is available in the Android phone. The only purpose to aware yourself uh, regarding this file structure is whenever the examination and the analysis software will extract everything and put it in front of you, you should know that, okay, for the system install applications related artifacts, I should access this /system/app partition. For the user install applications, I should access the /data/data partition. Inside that, I need to specifically search for the package like com.android.something. Okay, if I want to access the, so once the evidence is related to the recent activity, I should move into the /cache partition. That's it. And if I want to know that how many partitions are there, then I should move into the /procs/partitions. And if I want to know that the mapping between the actual partition name with the partition, then I should move into the /mount. Okay, so that is what the ultimate purpose of today's sessions, to aware you that these informations you need to keep in your mind, then you can do a good forensics. So I think with these words, I think in the next sessions we are going to discuss, we are going to focus more on the forensics of the user install applications. Thank you, thanks a lot, bye.